one of the reasons why the white people did so well over the black people, actually, and a lot of other things, was actually the steam engines. Like I say, I invested heavily in steam, heavy, heavy, heavy in steam. I was putting everything into steam engines basically, and steam turbines more so than engines. Engine technology, I was like, well, that's good, but the availability of fuel for a gasoline engine or an alcohol running engine is like this much. The available fuel for a steam engine is like tenfold what it is with gasoline engines. So, like I say, I invested most of my production and most of my inventing money. I basically dumped huge amounts into steam engine. You know, like basically everything was steam, pretty much steam powered. Steam powered drill bits, steam powered hammers, everything was steam. You know, because the amount of demand or the amount of usable fuel for gasoline and alcohol and oil burning engines was like, I mean, I had oil mines. Like you dig down in the ground, you're gonna hit oil, especially with coal. With coal, there'd always be a lot of oil with it. That was before we started sucking the oil out first, and then basically what what we started doing is when we hit coal and oil will go hand in hand. So they say there's oil pockets in the earth. No, there's no oil pockets in the earth. There's coal pockets in the earth, and there's oil in it, basically. So what you do is you dig. Anytime you find, and that's another thing that the stock market and everybody else was trying to do, was basically say that oil and coal are two different things. It's like, no, they're not. They're the same. Oil and coal go together. Always have, always will. You find oil, you're going to find coal. And that's part of it. You know, because when you dig down and you hit a coal seam, you'd always hit oil or gas. Actually, first you would hit gas, then you would hit oil, then you would hit coal. Okay? There's lots of coal down there. A ton. Like I said, the whole underneath Japan is all coal. I knew this. I was mining it. So anyway, and I bought it all up. All the land is mine. Ah, ha, 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 LS. I own all the mineral rights for the whole world, basically. But you know, I mean, hey, what am I going to do with all that? So anyway, that's why it's all LS. It's all LS. It's like, yeah, it is. It's all Lucifer Star. Like I say, there's nothing about mining that I didn't know. I love to mine. I love to dig. It's like any time I'd find out about a mountain or anything, I'd be like, ooh, let's go see what's down there. Let's dig. Well, you got coal, you got some gold, you got some silver, and you got some diamond thing. Glass beads. I'm not exactly sure what they are. Shine them up. Let's shine them up. Yeah, so thousands of years ago, I had people shining up my diamonds. Anyway, so, and then we finally found like other kinds of ways of making, and then I had them like melting down stuff, and it turned out that some sand, some silicas turn into glass or whatever. Anyway, when they get them really, 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 really hot, like super hot, they melt. It's not metal, but it's not it's glass. Anyway, so they start becoming that. Anyway, though, when you get up to like 120,000 degrees. Anyway, I love to mine, and I love to get things nice and hot. And all that other stuff. So it's just the way I am. LS, Lucifer Star. Anyway, though, so I invested a huge amount into steam. Steam brakes, steam everything, because it's like it's a universal power source. It powers the engine, it powers the brakes, it powers everything. And also doing safety systems like the little handbrakes. So if something happens or if the brake system clogs up or something like that. But with steam and all the heat, I mean, with the normal air system, you have the possibility of stuff freezing, but not with steam. Well, it does freeze sometimes, and that's another thing. The water becomes more of a problem with steam and all that. But that's another thing that we had. We had a dewatering tank, so the steam would come into here and then it would drop. And then there's a way of doing it with the brake system where the water comes out, but the pressure stays. Like when it goes into here, it'll go like that, and the water will drop here into the steam catch or water catch. And then the actual air that actually goes back to the back brakes is actually a little bit drier. and less likely, and then the steam particles. And that's another thing. Like sometimes the engineers, on those cold winter nights would have to go. And later on, we did an oil system because it wouldn't freeze and all that. So because working in the mountains, like I said, the brakes did freeze sometimes because there was water in there, and the brake system would get cooled off, and then it would freeze. So anyway. And there's a lot of things with steam and all that other stuff that most people don't have to worry about. But anyway, though, steam turbines for my winches and my other things. I did a lot of steam turbines for winches, and I actually did do some steam train things where, you get a steam turbine and then a wheel and a cog and everything else. There were steam trains, steam turbine trains, where because you just run a pipe back and all that other stuff. And I think there was also maybe some steam tanks where, because you can run differential, it's easier to do differential steering with steam. You just go left side, right side, and anyway, 5,000 or 7,000 degree or psi temperature air. Anyway, though, we did a lot of stuff with steam, a lot of playing around that most people didn't know about or don't know about. It's been forgotten. But anyway, I love steam more than I loved anything else. And so everything was steam. And I invested hugely in it because the fuel sources are so readily available. Take some logs, and like I say, you put the logs in, and even if they're green, they heat up, they dry out, and then they burn. And there's enough coal. As long as you have a little bit of coal in there, and you can pour some alcohol on top of there, pour some lighter fluid there, get to burn real good. And then once it gets to coal, once it gets nice and hot in there, it's like 5,000 degrees in there or something like that. Then you can start just throwing in green wood. My engines, you don't even need to use dried lumber. We had dried lumber on tap, but that's just because the engineers would have to go out there and chop down trees and stuff like that, and that takes time. So anyway, but the point though is that you could just take chopped green lumber and just throw it in there. Just add a little steam to the fire. And then it would get lit up, and then you just have to throw in the logs a little bit early. Like they would tell you, you just got to get nice and packed and throw in the logs a little early, and then they dry out, and then once it gets going, it's good. And that's the way it is. Once you get like a lot of heat and fire, and the metal's like radiating the heat back in, and it's basically just cooks that wood really good, and then it goes lights up, and that's LS steam. Anyway, though, me, fire, steam, metal. I'm just one of those guys. I love it. I loved it. That's how I got the Titanic. That's how I got all this mining stuff, because I just love to invest and love to mine and all that. Anyway, I'm LS and LC manufacturing and all that. So anyway, a bunch of black people came in, tried to buy everything and steal everything, and tried to say, it's basically they were shooting people behind my back, and they're hunting down my Germans. Like I said, it was all over. Basically, some black people, with some red pants and gray coats, went to go rape a German woman. German females, and they knew how to defend themselves, and they defended themselves and killed like 3 or 4 of them, and then the guys came to rape them again, and that's when they shot the rest of them. So, and that's what started the whole race war, basically. Some black guys wanted to rape these German women, and they said no. So, anyway. And after that, and Mr. Black's one of those people, or Mr. Brown's one of those people that if you kill or hurt one of his men or one of his crew, he goes after you and everyone you love and care about. So, anyway, because if you killed a black or a brown, then at least 150 or 200 of your people are going down in the ground and all that. So, anyway, that's what started it all. Basically, they went over to this other town, which was mine, and went to go rape my girls, or the women in my town, and they defended themselves and fought them off, and then killed the people who went to go rape them. So, anyway, And Mr. Brown was trying to claim that it was me, but it wasn't me. It was actually just him, and it was his decision that actually started the war in the first place. So,